I guess Bangladesh is, in by and large, not facing situation very different than many of our neighbors are doing in South Asia. But in our case, probably it's compounded by the fact that we have not export diversified as much as we should have. So a critical component comes from RMG. We have done well. We have been frequently quoted as one of the success model in textile and RMG. But now the problem is with this lockdown and everything, you can fairly imagine the economy is in a very serious situation. Even after this lockdown started, we have had a number of rounds of postponements of orders running into billions of dollars, and about 1 million RMG workers displaced, significant portion being women. And it went to the level that our Prime Minister herself started making calls to many of the European heads of state, asking them to hold on to the orders. So we are in a little tricky situation. So in a way, I think it's good because we needed to realize sooner than later, we need to diversify our export portfolio. It's not a healthy thing to be dependent on one particular sector year after year, even if you're doing well. The second comes to overall macroeconomic situation. Yes, you are right in pointing out we have had certain degree of stability and growth, and economy by and large have hovered around somewhere between 6 to 7%. And we have, as very frequently quoted as the stable fact in South Asia. But moving to the next level, how do we absorb the shock remains largely remains to be seen. And as you can fairly imagine, coming to COVID-19, in a resource-constrained country like us, where and even if you talk about Dhaka, extremely densely populated. So it's very difficult to know how many people actually symptomatic, asymptomatic have been affected. And I'm sure the government is struggling when to open up because as you may have heard in Pakistan, Imran Khan has been saying time and again that we can't afford to keep the lockdown long because a lot of people are going, I mean, they will die out of starvation. Similar situation here. We can't keep it locked down forever. But again, the question is when we open up, you know, Eid is coming up. We're going through the month of fasting. So at some point, government will have to open up sooner or later. But the question is what happens then? There's a big, huge question mark we have to deal with. Under the best of circumstances, if you're lucky, whatever we have had so far, 150,000 tests, around say 20,000 identification, about 300-400 people have passed away according to official statistics. If that remains certain, I think we would have weathered the storm. But as you could see, even in developed countries like UK, US, Germany, even if they've come out, they've had to go back to the second rounds of spike. So for us, it's a huge question mark. And definitely in an economy which has done well, but also not diversified as much as we should have, we're in a very tricky zone. So for us, the regional things become a little easier, that it's more easier lines to connect. You have so many, you have a 2 billion market next door. So you can cut down transport costs, you can boost the connectivity, which I'm sure in the next round, three of us will join in. So for Bangladesh, particularly in this precarious situation, that can be one way out if we can take advantage of the region. And with India, we have a lot of openings in recent years. So if we can start taking advantage of Northeast connectivity and also the regional exchange, we have a better chance of weathering this pandemic and common challenge that each of us is facing. Yes.
Good. And in terms of regional supply chains, I mean, on textiles in particular, I think this will hit, obviously, but has hit Bangladesh very hard already. Plus the lack of remittances, right, from the returning Bangladeshis worldwide.
True. I mean, we have been no less hard hit than Nepal. For example, look at Nepal. I mean, they also increasingly depend on 25% of info comes from Forex, which has come down to 1. In our case, a significant portion, particularly, the low-skilled laborers in a very difficult situation. They're out of their job and they're stranded in countries like, Saudi Arabia, UAE, are not having the option to come back, just surviving on the bare minimum. And they're out of jobs. So definitely it will have an impact on the, Forex remittance inflow. So that is something on the post or immediate, I wouldn't say post-COVID, because I guess we are getting more used to COVID normal life. So how do we handle that labor portion? And it will need the best level of economic diplomacy the government can deploy to make sure those people who are there actually can go back to job and don't come back home, penniless and go back to the villages and the sort of dilapidated condition they may end up with. Yes.